everyone, welcome back. In today's video, we're getting into the spring spirit with some super fun and budget-friendly Easter crafts. All of them are inspired by Dollar Tree finds. If you love DIYs that don't break the bank, you're in the right place. Hi, my name is Katie from Lady Red Crafting. Let's jump in and start crafting. While browsing the Dollar Tree, I ran across this adorable sign, "Welcome to our patch," but I thought I could make this look a lot nicer. So I grabbed a few items from the Dollar Tree, and one of the items I grabbed was this package of carrots, and they were on stakes, but I'm just going to remove the stakes from these carrots. Now, to elevate the look of these carrots, I'm going to remove the grass on the top of the carrots. Now, once we have all of that removed, I grabbed some greenery here, and this was some stems that I had gotten from Walmart. And I'm just going to remove a few of the little branches off of this to put in the top of each of these carrots. And to do this, I grab my hot glue gun and I just fill the top of the carrot. Next, we'll just add our little stems to the very top to give this a beautiful little hat. And once we have all three of our carrots transformed, we'll go ahead and set those aside and start on our next step. So I had some of these wood coasters in my stash, and we're going to use them for this project. And they are a 4x4 coaster. I also had this stencil that I've had in my stash for quite some time. It's a fall stencil, but I've used it for the spring and other seasons. It's just very versatile. So I'll put a link for that down in my description box below. I did get that on Amazon. It's very affordable. Next, I'm going to measure halfway down on this coaster, and I'm just going to score it using a razor blade. And once you do that a few times, it just snaps off with no problem. Now I grabbed a sanding block and just sanded off any rough edges from this piece of wood. And once you're satisfied with the edges, I'm grabbing my Waverly Antique Wax and I'm going to stain both sides of this piece of wood. Now, once that has completely dried, I'm going back to that stencil. And we're just going to use the bottom portion of the stencil that says, "Welcome to our patch." Now, if you don't have a stencil like this, you could print something out with your Cricut or any sort of cutting machine that you may have. You can freehand this and draw this on. You could also use stickers from the Dollar Tree. They have a lot of fun letters and sayings. So you could do a lot of varieties of things. And so the paste that I'm going to be using for this stencil is called Redesign Chalk Paste, and I did get this on Amazon. The color is Vintage Lace. And I'm just taking a squeegee and I'm just going to squeegee that over the top of the stencil, only where the letters are. And once I have that all smoothed out, I'm going to remove this stencil and it looks amazing. Now, once that has completely dried, I grabbed my miter shears. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just trim little triangles out of the side of the sign on each side to give it that ragged, broken look. They don't have to be perfect. Just be really careful when you're cutting these and make just little triangles. And this way, by doing it after the stencil is already on there, you can make sure that the triangles fit nicely around where the stencil is at. Now here is what our sign looks like. I just love how this is turning out. Next, let's go ahead and seal everything in. So I'm grabbing my Jolene's finishing wax here and using a lint-free cloth, I'm just going to wipe that over the top of the chalk paste to make sure everything stays into place. Now, while that is drying, I grabbed a piece of scrap fabric, and I do believe I got this at Dollar Tree at one point. And I'm just going to cut a small slit and tear a piece of the fabric off. We'll make just a basic bow with that piece of fabric. And now we have our three components for our sign: our carrots, our welcome sign, and bow. And for our backing, we are going to be using this fun rounder that I have from the Dollar Tree. Next, we're going to take some hot glue, and I'm just going to hot glue these carrots onto the rounder. And I'm starting with the outside carrots first. So I'll do one and I'm going to center that right underneath the circle there where the hanger is. And then I'm going to do a second one and do the same thing where I'm going to center it underneath that circle. And once I have those two in place, I'll put the last carrot right in the center. Next, let's go ahead and grab that welcome sign, and I'm going to just hot glue that right on top of the carrots. And for the final touch, I'll add that little bow to the top of the center carrot. And I am so happy with how this sign turned out. This welcome to our patch sign is such a fun spring piece to put in your decor items. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you're enjoying this content, please hit that like or subscribe button below. It really helps my channel grow. Thank you. I just love a cute bunny craft, and this one does not disappoint. We're going to start out with one of these bunnies from the Dollar Tree, an H and a P from Walmart. And I'm going to take this bunny apart. My inspiration came from the Dollar Tree, and it's this little hop sign, and we're going to recreate it with a more rustic farmhouse look. Now, once we remove all of the pieces from our bunny, I'm going to go ahead and just unwrap the garland from the bunny. And now that we're left with the frame of the bunny, I am going to grab some of my nautical rope from the Dollar Tree. And I ended up using 1.5 of these ropes to completely wrap our bunny. So now all I'm going to do is I kind of stick the rope inside the bunny to get started, and I'm just going to start wrapping it from the bottom. And this first rope is going to go all the way around the bunny and up one of the ears. And when you get to the top of that ear, I just go ahead and I fold that rope under the other rope in there, and I'm using a little bit of hot glue, and I'll just hot glue that into place. And now that that ear is complete, let's go ahead and start wrapping the second ear. For the second ear, I'm going to stuff the rope down into the bunny a little bit, and I'm using this makeup applicator just to kind of push that into the place. And then once I get that to where I want it, I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping the ear, and we're just going to repeat what we were doing on the first ear. And now that our bunny is wrapped, let's go ahead and set that aside and start working on the letters. So I got these letters at Walmart. I tend to go there often for letters because they always have a good selection of them. And once I have these letters prepped to paint, I'm going to just flip them over, and using my Waverly chalk paint in the color Ballet Slipper, I'm going to paint both sides of these letters. And now that our letters are painted, I'm going back to that little bunny, and I'm going to use a little raffia bow, and taking some hot glue, and I'm just going to put that right at the top between the two ears. Now let's go ahead and put our piece together. I had a piece of molding that I had in my stash, and at one point I had painted it with some chalkboard paint. So I went back and I just went ahead and sanded it down a little bit, and that's the look that I wanted for the base of this. Next, I'm just going to place my letters and my bunny on top of the board and just figure out where I'm going to align everything. And to attach it, I'm going to be using my Tight Bond Quick and Thick glue with a little bit of hot glue. And I'll start out by placing the bunny onto the board first. Then I will just center the H and the P around the bunny. And now that everything is glued into place, I let this sit for about an hour before I moved it. It does take a full 24 hours to completely cure. And wow, this piece is stunning. This video does not do it justice. It is adorable. It is such a fun piece for the Easter season. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let's take this classic bunny from the Dollar Tree and transform him. My inspiration was this Dollar Tree sign. I'm going to start out by taking my Waverly Antique wax and I'm going to stain both the front and the back side of this bunny. Now, while we have a moment, I want to tell you that this video is part of a fun collaboration recreation inspiration. This playlist I host every month with Loli at Loli D Creations. Our guest host is Leslie from Happy Tuesdays. This playlist is about recreating something that inspires you. The playlist link is down in my description box below, and as well as the link to these amazing co-hosts. Please go check them out and give them some love. Thank you. So now that your bunny is stained on both sides, I went ahead and I took that Waverly Antique wax and I'm just going to brush that around the outside perimeter of this bunny. And now here's what our bunny looks like on all sides. So I've had this cute little stamp set in my stash for quite some time and I wanted to use it on this project. To apply the stamps, I'm going to be using Waverly chalk paint in the color Plaster. And all I'm going to do is take my paintbrush and I'm just going to paint each of the stamps here. At first I was going to use the little one and the big one, and then I decided once I started doing the bunny that I was only going to use the big stamp. And when I was applying the stamp, I started at the bottom of the bunny and I went in a row, and I'm just going to continue doing that until I cover the whole entire bunny. And I ended up reapplying the paint for every 2 times that I did the stamp. And don't worry if you're stamping and you get it thicker and thinner in other spots on the bunny. That is totally fine. It's going to give it a really rustic look. And once you're done stamping your bunny, you're going to set this aside to dry, and you want this really nice and dry before our next step. So now we're going to take a little piece of sandpaper and we're just going to buff over the top of the stamped area. Now let's make an embellishment for our little bunny. I'm going to start out with a sheer ribbon, a 1-inch ribbon, and I'm going to hold it together and make a little bow. And once I've got the shape of a single bow, I'm going to add a second loop on each side. Now I'm going to scrunch that together in the center. And using my little pipe cleaner here, I'm going to twist that around the center of the bow. And once you have that nice and tight into place, I cut off any of the excess pipe cleaner. Next, we'll go ahead and just fluff our bow, and then I cut our tails. Next, I'm going to go ahead and cut about a 1.5-inch piece of the ribbon, and I'm going to fold it into thirds. And once I have that folded into thirds, I'm going to wrap that around the center of my ribbon, and I'm going to cover that pipe cleaner. And using a little bit of hot glue, I'm going to put the hot glue on the back and pinch that ribbon together. Be really careful if you are sensitive to the heat. Now, once you have that in place, I'll just trim any of the excess ribbon on the back, and we'll have a beautiful little bow for our bunny. Now let's go ahead and take that bow and hot glue it onto our bunny. And wow, this bunny turns out fabulous. I just love how he turns out. I can't wait to display him for Easter. And there you have it. 3 adorable Easter projects. I hope you enjoyed these crafts today as much as I did. And if you're looking for more fun and creative craft ideas, be sure to check out our next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, craft more, stress less.